Come on in, we're going to get into it in a minute. We're going to get into it in a minute, guys. Thank you to the two that are watching. We're going to get into it in a minute. We're going to chop this thing up in a minute, guys. But the topic of discussion, guys, today is this. The topic of discussion is the truth behind modern masculinity. And you guys know I've talked about it over and over and over and over again. And I want to share the good news also, guys. My monetization was taken care of. As you guys know, shout out to Greg with Scotland yesterday. My monetization, my channel was frozen for a minute. But now it's straight. We're good now. And I want to talk about something, guys. I want to talk about the truth about modern masculinity. You guys have heard me say, not one time, but several times, that masculinity is under attack. And so once again, my channel was, my monetization was paused. And luckily, I've been able to go live and get my monetization back. Shout out to my man, Mr. Cash App. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, brother, for the 5. Thank you, Mr. Cash, Mr. Cash App. I appreciate it, brother, for your kindness. Thank you, sir. We got a good show, guys, coming up later. It's going to be a powerful show. And we're going to talk about a bevy of things, guys. We're going to talk about the hypocrisy in so many modern women. We're going to talk about the demise of Kevin Samuels later. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about the B. Taylor situation. And, you know, somebody asked the question, why do I do these shows? I do it for a myriad of reasons. I want men to know that you have value and that you have and you desire the best and you deserve the best. Not only do you have value, but you should never compromise your worth as a man. And so the question is, do modern women support you? The polls are coming in and they say no. And so the truth behind modern masculinity is this. You got a generation of men, as I said before in the past, that don't know what their worth is as a man. Everything they do is through the lens of negativity. Everything they strive for got to be at the approval of the so-called community. A man can never do anything outside of what his true desires are. It got to always be at the behest of the community. And God, that's a problem on a myriad for a myriad of reasons. It's a problem for a myriad of reasons because what it does, it doesn't give you sovereignty like Ron Webb's talked about, but also what it does, it reduces the right to self-determination. So once again, shout out to my man, Mr. Cash App, for the 5. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. I appreciate it, brother. And guys, this show is just a chronicle that everybody should have a right to be free and to say what they want to say. I believe in the freedom of expression for men and women. But sadly, in the confines of America, when it comes down to men and the truth behind modern masculinity, that is this. If you strive to have a voice, if you try to have a voice, if you talk about what your desires are, what your wants are, what your needs are, it's often called misogyny. And that word is a word that's used to weaponize language. It's used to weaponize language and to keep a lot of men in a state of arrested development. And that's a problem on so many levels, guys. It's a problem on so many levels because human beings are happy when they have the freedom of expression. Human beings are happy when they have the freedom of expression. But once again, it appears that American black men don't have the power, or men in general don't have the freedom of expression on a consistent basis. And that's a problem because when freedom of expression is allowed, then you get a better product of a human being. But now you don't get that better product of a human being because once again, the freedom of expression is not allowed. So once again, to the 8 that are coming in, I don't know if you guys knew it, My monetization was temporary on pause yesterday, but it is back on par now. And so shout out to Greg with Scotland yesterday for donating, the other brother donating. But the truth behind masculinity is that one will argue that there is a pernicious attack on heteronormative masculinity. There is a pernicious attack on traditional women too. I talked about the Shaquille O'Neal situation recently, and how when it comes down to men having a voice, it's often silent. And it's so bad now, guys, that you can't say anything. You can't say anything against the masses. And see, people always assume that this is a black man's issue, but it's not a black man's issue. It's an American man issue. The truth behind modern masculinity is that it is an American male issue. Taxation without representation, the minimization of masculinity. Anything men say or do is often under the veneer of disgust and or disdain. He can't have a voice unless he gets consent. But here's the problem with that. The problem, guys, with that is this. I did a show back in the past called Black Love Without Consent. And basically what it says is that you can't have a healthy situation or a healthy relationship unless you consent with your men, unless you ask your men what they want in those relationships. But the problem many times in America, we don't consent with the men. We just make assumptions and we make presumptions. And because, we don't consent with black men, many times men suffer in silence. And while men are suffering in silence, a lot of the things that the women will want from relationships, they're not getting. And so things are not like they used to be, guys, years ago, especially if you grew up in Generation X, like I did. Gen X women were not perfect women. But as I said before in the past, I think they were a better quality of women. Gen X women weren't perfect, but I think they were a better quality of women. And the truth behind modern masculinity is that the masses don't want you to have a voice. They don't want you to have an opinion. They don't want you to have the right to self-determination. They don't want you to say what you want in relationships while they're saying what they want. The truth behind modern masculinity is that a lot of men suffer in silence, and many times they don't have a voice. And the problem with them not having a voice is this. When they strive to have a voice, it's often met with disdain. And one of the things that I've learned as a therapist is that human beings should have the right to self-determination, to live their life on their own terms, to speak out when they need to speak out, to say what they want to say. And once again, as I told you guys, this is not, how can I say it, a black man issue. This is an American male issue. And men all across the world, sadly, are saying the same thing. Men all across the world are saying the same thing because, once again, there are issues with modern masculinity that need to be dealt with. The biggest problem is men don't have boundaries anymore. Men or modern men don't have boundaries. They don't have boundaries. And that's a very serious issue confronting modern masculinity. They don't have boundaries. As I said on yesterday, the world has not told them or allowed them to qualify what their worth is. Many men quit before they reach the pinnacle of their success because they have not been galvanized in the community that will give them the power to succeed and give them the power to overcome. Many times I've talked about how men tend to over-identify with the women in their lives instead of knowing what their worth is, knowing what their power is, knowing what their limits are. Another issue with modern masculinity is that men have not gotten mentorship. And because men haven't gotten mentorship, and men many times don't speak truth to power, not only do the women suffer, but the girls suffer and others suffer as well. Because when men know what their limits are, then it sets limits and it sets more or less conditions for the community that they're dealing with. But when men don't know what their limits are, when they don't know what their worth is, then others suffer in silence. It's not just a man thing that happens. The women suffer as well. Because I've done a poll, guys, before in the past and said that when men fail to lead, the women rebel. When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over. And that's a major issue, guys, that we have now with modern masculinity. There's no true demarcation of leadership anymore. Traditionalism is going by the wayside. The black church that was once vibrant is no longer vibrant anymore. And it's gotten so bad, guys, that when you try to set limits and set standards, because there's a level of emotional insecurity and emotional not only insecurity, but emotional maturity. Instead of fighting through issues and fighting through adversity, they don't fight through it. There was a generation years ago where men had higher standards than they have now. But men now don't have standards like they used to have years ago. The standards are low. The standards are low. The fight men used to have, they don't fight anymore. They just let things be. And that could be due for a myriad of reasons, because men's testosterone levels are lower now for a myriad of reasons, whether it's environmental toxins, plastic, the lack of sleep, stress. Some will say social engineering. But nonetheless, men are checking out all over the world. And it's led to what's called not only a social crisis, but also a mental health crisis. And so the real truth is, when you try to sequester men, or when you try to minimize a man's ability to speak and to have a voice, it causes problems. I've seen it, and you men have seen it. And it happens over and over and over and over and over and over again. And to the people that attack other men, attack men like myself for having a voice, because our voice is counterintuitive to the modern narrative, you're not hurting us, you're really hurting yourself. Because what it's going to continue to do, it's going to galvanize those men that say, we're going to speak up, we're going to be loud, we're going to mobilize outside the confines of, how you doing, sweetie? What's up, red lipstick? How you doing, dear? But we're going to mobilize outside the confines of America, and we're going to start creating our own reality. And let me tell you something, guys. What people don't understand is this, is that needs drive behaviors. Dr. William Glass have talked about it. I've talked about it several times. Needs drive behaviors. And one of those needs is the need to have power. But the real truth in America is that black men that have traditionally been powerless, anytime they try to exert their power and say what they want, either it be in relationships or what they want in love overall, it's often met on deaf ears. And so because of that, the truth behind masculinity, once again, is that when men don't have power, then you get something called apathy. And what you're seeing now, guys, is a lot of apathy in relationships. It's a lot of apathy. There's a lot of indifference. And there are a lot of men that just don't care anymore. And it happens over and over and over again. Anytime you have a voice or you say anything that's counterintuitive to the modern narrative, they'll say over and over again, your mama black, you hate black women. Guys, I got a good show coming up tonight. We're going to talk about the hypocrisy. Well, actually, it's not going to be tonight. It's going to be a little later. Sooner, hopefully, than anything. I think I'm going to go live around 6, or I might go live sooner. Maybe I might even go live at 3. But it's going to be talking about the hypocrisy of bi-curious relationships. The hypocrisy of bi-curious relationships. And the real truth, guys, is that we know that men, when it comes down to the alphabet, a man can't do what a woman do when it comes down to that, because he's going to be shamed back into silence. And so the truth behind modern masculinity is that you have a group of men that, one, don't know what their power is, 2, they don't know what their value is, 3, they allow others to define their value and power based on shaming language and the weaponizing of language. And then number 4, they don't stand firm on what their value system is. So some of you men that are listening, you create the whole problem, or sometimes you create the reality that you complain about because you don't stand on principle. And when you don't stand on principle, it's not a benefact, it's a detriment. And so Brother Bachelor guys talked about something called the useful idiots can't tell the difference from cause versus results. And once again, what we're beginning to see is a generation of men that are becoming indifferent. And I think you begin to see it more in Gen Z men. Gen Z men are not going to tolerate what Generation X men have tolerated. They're not going to tolerate it. They're just going to continue to check out. Shout out to my man Will for, I think the $1 super chat. Hold on for a minute. Checking out, guys. They're going to keep checking out. And they're going to continue to become more and more indifferent. Because the world has not critically done the work in asking men what they want in relationships. And then those women that want to appease men and what they want in relationships, it's often met on in shame. They try to shame those women back into silence. They try to make those women seem like they're ignorant. And guys, it's a pernicious display of how can I say it? It's a pernicious display of manipulation, the minimization of what women are trying to do, the minimization of masculinity, and the destruction of a society and a community that continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse. I've always said, guys, before in the past, you can't have black love without consent. I'm gonna say it again. You can't have black love without consent. And you might ask the question, what do you mean by that? Well, you can't have black love until you consent to the black man and ask the black man what he wants in relationships. Until you consent to the black man and ask him what he wants in a relationship, there is no true black love. Until you do a survey and say, what can I give to my man to help him become a better man, then there is no black love. So once again, guys, my channel was paused temporarily with the monetization. As you guys know, my channel has been attacked several times, and it appears to be the reduction of truth, the silencing of free speech, sadly. But once again, these are the same people that say that they want traditional relationship. They want to see black love and black unity. But you can't have black love and black unity when you're denigrating the men that you want to come back in that said community to support you, love you, and protect you. And so once again, guys, the apathy is beginning to become more and more stronger, and men are becoming more and more indifferent. This is not a black phenomenon, guys. I know people like to think that it's a black phenomenon, but it's not. It's not a black phenomenon at all. White men are going through it too. And I'm going to play a clip by the Bella Bachelor. And once again, guys, y'all check out the show later today. It's going to be real good. It's going to be called Rise of the Beaver. It's going to be called Rise of the Beaver. Y'all going to love that one. It's going to be called Rise of the Beaver and the hypocrisy associated with bi-curious relationships. As you guys know, the privileges that some women have, men will never have those privileges. And not that I more or less agree with bi-curious relationship. I think a person got the right to do what they want to do, but that's not something that our ancestors believed in. And so, you know, I don't believe nobody should be disrespecting people, hurting people, but I don't endorse it. I respect people that want to live their lives, but I don't think that people should be trying to force their worldviews onto people of color. And I think black people have been hijacked universally. And now anytime you say anything counterintuitive to the narrative, you know, people use shaming language. So people weaponize language in modern masculinity to control you. It's a form of reverse psychology. They weaponize language when it comes down to a myriad of things. But Bella Bachelor said something that made a lot of sense. The usual idiots can't tell the difference between cause and results. And it's about how modern masculinity is under attack and how men are checking out. So hold tight.
Because I feel like if a guy is nice, that means he gets no girls. And that's like a turn off, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But then I'm on social media like, I want a guy that gets no bit, but like that's just not true. So.
Okay.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is.
So now, guys, you can't win for losing. And see, I told you guys that there's a generation of men that have been conditioned, and they are still more or less living on that 1950s hard drive. They look at life through the lens of yesterday instead of seeing the world for what it is. And I'm going to challenge you guys on this. If you keep looking at life through the lens of yesterday, you're going to wake up one day, you're going to be angry, you're going to be frustrated, and you can probably end up doing something that you'll regret. Because if you're a Gen X or a boomer, you saw relationships different. And I will say that those women were a little better than women now. But some of those same Gen X women are doing the same things that we had before back in the past, which is a problem and which is problematic. So the real truth behind masculinity is that, it's not like it used to be. The real truth is that men can't have a voice without condemnation and shame and ridicule. The real truth is that when traditional women try to speak out and speak their voice, they are silenced and called obtuse names like pick me, mammoths, and degrading things. And so what happens when that happens consistently, you don't have the progression of a community, but you have what's called the deconstruction of a community.
Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Over the course of the next probably month or so, I'm going to be uploading a couple different types of video. One's going to be news, like news about movies or news about what's going on in the world that I think affect men, financing, things like that. And then I'm going to be uploading kind of my normal stuff, which is the dating stuff and marriage and all that. And
because people don't understand the truth behind modern masculinity and why men are doing the things they are, men continue to check out. They continue to become indifferent. They continue to become apathetic because people are not meeting them where they are at. Remember, guys, needs drive behaviors. Based on the polls, based on the 11 polls with 11 votes, do modern women support you? 18% said yes, 82% said no. So unanimously, men feel like they don't get the support that they deserve. I don't know if the person that said yes is a troll. It could be a man that's sincere, and that's fine. But guys, you begin to see the same culmination over and over and over again, the same results, the same issues, where men don't feel like they're being heard, men don't feel like they're getting their needs met, and men are continuing to suffer in silence, and men are continuing to become indifferent. And the indifference is becoming more and more and more and more and more and more and more prevalent, more so in these modern times. Because once again, you cannot have black love without consent. Consent is a term that's used in therapy. You can't disseminate information of a client until you consent with that client. Well, you can use that same concept with love and relationships. We're not consenting with the men asking the men what they want in relationships. And the problem is because men tend to over-identify with their mothers, they don't know what their power is, and they don't know what their worth is as well. Some of these men are dealing with unresolved issues from trauma and unresolved issues from abuse and neglect. And so instead of them standing firm and declaring what they want, they over-identify with their mothers. It's not all their fault in general. But when you identify what the problem is and how you compromise your power, you have to do something about it.
Whichever one seems to get more views is probably start steering the ship a little bit in that direction. One thing I think that a lot of YouTube creators don't understand is that sometimes the winds of change change, and we need to change along with it.
That's true.
And over time, I think more and more guys are kind of getting the, I get it. Like, I get it. Dating's bad. Relationships bad. Blah, blah, blah. Tell me something new. And so I'm going to continue to explore in that direction. That's why I'm uploading this one. And then I'm also talking about woke Hollywood going broke and things like that. So keep an eye out, and your views will vote in
God,
content you guys get.
That's another issue
both, but I'll focus on whichever one
seems to be
what you guys want to watch. So just remember that.
And
experts are baffled.
The thing I don't understand is that so-called black people, us being descendants of racism, slavery, you would think that black folks wouldn't want to silence the speech of another black man or another black woman. But sadly, many have more or less joined the woke machine. They have been complicit in the woke machine. They've been complicit in the same practices that'll oppress or more or less oppressed our people years ago. And instead of being clarion callers when it comes down to speaking truth to power, they don't say anything. And so they become part of the problem instead of becoming part of the solution. They become part of the problem instead of becoming part of the solution.
Why Gen Z men still avoid women. They're coming across data now that shows that Gen X, and then moving to millennials, and then moving to Gen Z, and then Gen Alpha, of course, that more and more men are just like, I got other things to do. And they like many other people that are not, that they don't have their finger on the pulse of men's issues, they look at the results and then blame it on the results. In other words, they're looking at men not dating, and they say, oh, it's because guys are on the internet watching, the saucy stuff on the web, and they're not going out to get girls. Yeah, partly true. And guys are not dating because of video games, and guys are not dating because of being blasted on social, or not being involved on social media. And the truth of the matter is, those are the results of men not dating. Guys I know young man who has a fancy.
How many of you men that are listening, I don't know if you're Gen X or not, but how many of you men are tired of modern dating? If you're tired of modern dating, hit 1. Do you feel that the world cares about the concerns of men and their desires? I need you to hit 2. How many of you men are tired of modern dating? Hit 1. And do you feel like the world is concerned about the affairs of men? Hit 2. Because, guys, we're going to continue on this negative trend. They did a study that says that by 2030, 45% of women are going to be single and childless. And some places gotten so bad, they're trying to recruit men to repopulate the earth. And these liberal, radical agendas are not beneficial to black men. Liberals years ago were more mellow. They were mellow liberals. But liberals now are radical. They're radical in their pronouncement. They're radical in what they're trying to do. And anytime a person goes against the narrative, anytime a person goes against the grain, they're silenced. As you guys know, on yesterday, my channel was temporarily suspended. My channel has been struck 3 times in the past. I know there are people behind the scene that are doing it. But that proves my point that those people are not clarion callers for freedom of speech. Because you believe in freedom of speech, you don't try to silence nobody. If you believe in that people, that human beings have a right to speak and have a voice, then you'll do everything in your power to meet that person where they're at. But what you're seeing now, guys, you're not seeing people do that. You are seeing people that every chance they get a chance to make you silent, make you become silent, they'll do it because they don't want you to have a voice. And that's not consistent with the right to self-determination. And that's why so many guys are checking out. That's why so many guys are becoming indifferent. That's why the men that are listening are becoming indifferent. I hear so many women saying they want chivalry of yesterday. They want men to court them. But I think from a lot of black men are saying, what are you willing to give in return? What are you willing to give me in return for old school courtship? What are you willing to give me in return for old school relationships? And guys, you know, and I know that men die off early. They die off early. They die off at an earlier rate than their women and their predecessors. So if men are dying off early, then one will ask themselves the question then, what are they trying to do to make things better if they're dying off early? And you know, guys, it's so damn bad now that anytime you tell the truth, anytime you say anything that's consistent with your worldview, people get so triggered. They unsubscribe, which I don't care because you don't damn support the channel, no way. But they get insecure, they unsubscribe, they're so timid, they don't listen. They're very insecure, they're very sensitive. Anything you say or anytime you say anything that's not consistent with feelings, then they go and unsubscribe or lie or try to denigrate you because you don't want to hear the real truth behind masculinity and what men want. Many come into shows, many come into programs, try to silence the voices of men. And so I got to the point now, you know, I don't care anymore. I'm going to rock with people that rock with me. I'm going to support people that support me. I'm going to support women that support what I support. I know in this journey called life, you can't appease and please damn everybody. You're just not going to, and I'm okay with that. But what I'm not going to do is create a narrative that I lie to people. And some might say, well, that's why did he talk about relationships? Because number one, relationships is evergreen content. That's number one. I'm a content creator. That's number one. Number two, there is a crisis in heteronormative masculinity. That's number two. Number three, the real truth is that men don't really have a voice. Number four is that men don't know how much power they have. And number five, women, if they realize how much power they had, then they'll use that power to build their relationships. But instead of competing to try to build those relationships, you'd rather get mad, unsubscribe, or don't support, and I'm okay with that. You're just hurting yourself in the end. Because the train and the snowball effect is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Dating is becoming obsolete, especially with Gen Z men. The courtship that men did for women years ago is going to continue to decline. Guys, do me a favor, share the stream. Please share the stream. Shout out to KP from KC5 for the $5 super chat. Share this stream. Donate to the channel. We got a good show coming up later. It's going to be powerful. We're going to talk about the hypocrisy in bi-curious relationships. So share the stream, guys, and support the channel. And we're going to get deep into it, guys. But let's get back to what this brother is saying about why experts are baffled that Gen Z men are checking out and avoid women.
See, for women, no young guy says, "Oh, I'd love to go, do the old in and out and get laid with a, beautiful woman." But instead, I'm going to stay home and play a video game. Not too many guys are like that. They have their base needs, as it were. But when it comes to actually having it happen, it's not happening for them. And so guys are kind of tapping out and moving away. This is a new article. And this is updated May 6th, just a couple days ago. They say reimagining. So, wait, is it where? Let me see if I can find this here. Okay, I found it. Here we go. Reimagine. There you go, reimagining. So this is written by a leftist woman. Reimagining teenage romance, Gen Z men opting out of the dating scene. They say Washington, D.C., new research shows romantic relationships are rapidly disappearing part of the American teenage experience, with nearly half of Gen Z men opting not to date, according to new research. They say Gen Z men are a lot different than older generations. Only 32% of millennial men,
and guys,
23%
let me say this,
men, and just 20% of
I remember a time when Gen Z men, Generation X men did court women. We used to court women back in the day. We would write love letters. It wasn't nothing for men to go out on dinner dates and treat women well. But nowadays you can't do that because you got a damn generation of entitlement. You got a generation of sycophants. You got a generation of weak men that don't know how much power they have. You got a generation of people that are damn extremely selfish, extremely entitled, extremely sensitive. You got a generation that demand everything and haven't given a damn thing in return. And then when masculine men do speak out, they use language to weaponize. They use weaponizing language like misogyny. But on the flip side, the ones that call you misogynistic, they're misandric themselves. They call you misogynistic, but they're misandric. They say you hate women, but they really hate men. And so it's a clinical condition called reaction formation. The thing they accuse you of, they're actually doing it themselves. Just like the same people that project something, say something, they're actually doing it themselves. So I'm going to continue to do my channel until I decide to get more creative. And I'm going to learn how to be more creative at some point because there's a lot of work doing this, man. And that's why I've been utilizing this live thing from my phone, this 4K view for a while, because it takes a lot of work putting this stuff together, man. I don't know if my content is being suppressed. I don't know. I don't know why the numbers have gotten low, but it ain't gonna stop me from doing what I need to do, because the truth still reigns supreme in spite of. The truth still reigns supreme in spite of. My mission in my show is to call out the hypocrisy and to bring a level of awareness to those women that are willing to listen and hear the truth about modern masculinity. How you doing, dear? What's going on, Sister Bashua? Those women that are willing to hear the truth about modern masculinity are going to get the good results, like Sister Bashua. She got the results. But those that continue to silence equitable black women, those that continue to silence equitable black men, those that continue to silence those that are clarion callers the truth, the decay will continue. And so once again, you can't have black love without black consent. I'm going to say it again. You can't have black love without black consent. And like I was saying earlier, the hypocrisy, guys, is astounding. What's up, Candace? How you doing, brother? The hypocrisy is astounding. Guys, tune in tonight or at some point later today. I got a powerful show coming up. We're going to be talking about bi-curious relationships. How it is a double standard. How Kevin Samuels was lambasted after being called alphabet. And we're going to show the parallels from a statistical perspective. We're going to have a live call in tonight, so get ready for that show, guys. And we're going to talk about not only, as we're talking about now, the truth behind modern masculinity, but also the hypocrisy of so many modern women when it comes down to dating, and also the hypocrisy of so many modern women when it comes down to men getting their needs met and men getting their desires met. Because once again, you cannot have black love without consent. You can't have it. You can't even force it. You can try to force it, but it'll never work. Because relationships are dualistic. A relationship is not predicated on the needs of one party only. A relationship is predicated on what a man wants. It's predicated on what a woman wants. And they come together after they have more or less explored their values, and they look at their value system, do a concept called value clarification. And then they ask themselves the question, are my values or is my value system compatible with the person that I'm trying to date? But once again, sadly, in America, anytime men say what their values are and what they want, they use reverse psychology, they weaponize language, they silence those men that have a voice, and they continue the decay, something that our ancestors would have never agreed to. Our ancestors, black slaves that were brought here to America, they died and fought for freedom of speech. They died and fought for freedom of expression. They died that we could have a voice as black men and black women. And not only that, I believe in freedom of speech, not only for black men, but white men as well. Because our struggles are the same. This is not a black issue. This is an American issue that needs to be addressed. And until we get to the core of the problem, until we get to the crux of the problem, shout out to Gregory Scholar. Gregory, everything is back on point, man. Thank you, brother, for showing so much support yesterday. Gregory, we got a powerful show coming up later on today. We're going to talk about the hypocrisy of bi-curious relationships, bisexuality. We're going to talk about the penetration principle. We're going to talk about how men are not allowed the same double standard that many women are. And listen, I believe in traditional relationships. If a person want to do that, that's their business. I don't believe they should be hurt. But just like, Alphabet got their own issues. They got their own beliefs. I think traditional, heteronormative, conservative, traditional men and women should have the ability to say what they want as well. And ain't no damn two-way street. So once again, Gregory, we're just coming in to those that's coming in. We're talking about the real truth behind modern masculinity. And the real truth is this. Men are often silenced when it comes down to having a voice. Men needs are often minimized when it comes down to having a voice. I see it all the time in therapy. And I'll be damned if I'm going to sit up on my behind as a black man, number one, as a professional man, number two, and when I see the injustice, not say anything. There's an old saying, guys, that said that evil continues when good men sit back and do nothing. Evil continues when good men sit back and do nothing. Shout out to my man James Turner. What's up, brother? Evil continues when good men stand by and do nothing. Once again, guys, tonight or later on today, make sure y'all I think everybody hit the notification. I got a powerful show on tonight. We're gonna have a live call in. We're gonna talk about rise of the beavers, rise of the beaver. We're gonna talk about rise of the beaver. Why are so many women becoming bi-curious, and then the hypocrisy, as so many accuse Kevin Samuels of being alphabet, when in actuality Many of them have been alphabet themselves. I need the 12 people that are watching to share this stream. My subscribers are taking a hit because people don't want to hear the truth. And guys, I'm gonna try to start growing a new audience. I'm gonna try to start growing a new audience. How you doing? Who's that? Jamila, how you doing there? We're gonna have a good show. But guys, do me a favor, share this stream to the good sisters that are watching. Share the stream, because many times, anytime men decide to say anything, they use weaponizing of language, and they'll say that you hate black women. And I love women. I love good black women. If I was a single man again, the women I would deal with would be black women. They wouldn't be American women, maybe, because what I'm looking for is hard to find. I like traditional old school sisters. I like sisters that understand their assignment. I like sisters that have been trained to respect and honor their men. That's the kind of women I look for. Yeah, Rise of the Beaver. Yeah, oh boy, I can't wait to see the short beaver. Well, look, go look. Well, the title of the show, Jay, gonna be called Bump and Dump. That's a new term I created called Bump and Dump. I hear people used to talk about Pump and Dump, but it's gonna be called Bump and Dump, Rise of the Beavers. And you know what I'm talking about being a beaver. There's a lot of bumping and grinding, a lot of bumping and dumping and bumping and grinding. And the hypocrisy is astounding, because I've never in my life seen a group that often accuse black men of being alphabet, but many times they've slept with women themselves. I don't think the older generation of women are doing it. I don't think many Gen X women have done it. But a lot of the newer generation of women are doing it. And they wonder once again why men are checking out. Yeah. I appreciate that, Gregory Scotland. We got to get Coach back to his status. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, Gregory. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if as you guys know, my channel has taken 3 hits. It's taken 3 hits with strikes. Thank God YouTube did reverse it. And then here recently, my monetization was suppressed. I had to get that reversed. So, anytime you tell the truth, and that's why I tell you guys to share the content. I need you guys to share the content, put it on social media, get it out there, because it could be suppressed. I don't know 100%, but you can't convince me with the work I done put in. These numbers should be this low. But I know that I'm under attack, because let me tell you guys something. Anytime you do something right, people are going to try to attack it. Anytime you stand for truth, anytime you stand for equity, anytime you stand for what's right, you're going to be under attack. And so the faithful patrons like the James Turners of the world, the Gregory Scotlands, the Top Guns of the world, I need you guys to push this content for me. I'm trying to do different things to get back into the algorithm, because it's not acceptable that these numbers are this low, guys. It's not acceptable. I don't know if are you guys getting the notifications? And you're right, James Turner. He's already great. He just don't know. People are still not ready for the truth, and it's still going to take a few generations. Yes, it's going to take a lot of generations, man. Yeah, and I think that's what's happening, Gregory Scott. I think because it's like every time I get a sub, it drops. And let me tell you something, guys. I'm going to announce this. I'm going over to Rumble. I'm gonna start doing my content on Rumble. I'm gonna stay on YouTube too, but I'm about to start a Rumble account. I'm gonna start filming on Rumble, where there's freedom of speech, freedom of expression. None of this BS goes on where your channel get flagged for stupid stuff. But I'm going to be on Rumble. I'm going to be on Rumble. Let me see. Are you guys getting all notifications? If you get notifications, hit 1. If you guys are getting notifications, hit 1. Make sure you hit the like button and put it on all notifications. But I'm going to start a Rumble account. I'm going to start a new account on Rumble, where men can have when people can have freedom of expression, freedom of thought. I'll still be on YouTube, but I don't know what's going on with these damn numbers, man. Yeah, I'm going over there. Thank you, Sister Bashir and Gregory Scotland. Thank you. But I'm going on Rumble at some point, because once again, even though the strikes were reversed, even though my monetization was reapplied again, It appears to be a pernicious attack on freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And I'll be damned if as a black man, their ancestors were victims of cultural Marxism. Ancestors were silenced by groups like the KKK. I'll be damned if I sit back and just be quiet and go along with the status quo. Damn, I'll die for what I believe in if I have to, and so should you. Enough is enough. It's gotten to a point that men need to start speaking out. Righteous women need to start speaking out. And if you perish for the sake of truth, so be it. Because I'd rather be silenced in death than to be silenced and be alive. Evil happens when good men stand up and do nothing. When men are silent, the children rebel and the women take over. And so if you are silent, then you are complicit in your own demise. So once again, tonight, we got a good show coming up, guys. Rise of the Beaver Bumper. We're going to have a live call in. I need you guys to call in. I need the 10 that are watching, guys, push this stream for tonight. This stream tonight is going to be a powerful stream. Y'all going to love it. It's going to be funny, but also it's going to be entertaining. We're going to have a live call in, and we're going to get questions from the audience about, is there hypocrisy between bicurious relationships when it comes down to men, and is there hypocrisy with bicurious relationships when it comes down to women? So I'm going to once again start a Rumble account at some point. I look forward to going over Rumble. I mean, I don't have any issues with YouTube, but it's getting to the point now, man, enough is enough. 3 strikes literally in a month. I got them all reversed, and then monetization suppressed. And I know it's women, some of these women behind the scenes doing it because they don't want you to have a voice. They don't like what we're saying. They don't like what you're saying. Many of them want control. Many of them want you to kiss their ass. Gregory Scotland said, Coach, remember before the 3 strikes, YouTube will stop some of your streams back in the late 2000 era. Yeah, I think that what that was, Gregory, is that when you're using people's content, you have to pause between the commentary. If you don't pause between the commentary, you just let it run, say for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, they'll shut it down. So that's normal. You can't just stream content without adding to it. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but anyway, let's get back to it, guys. We got a good show tonight, guys. Please tune in tonight. We're gonna kill the game on tonight. It's gonna be a good show. I might do it a little earlier, but I'm trying something new to get into this damn algorithm because I'm tired of putting in the work, man. I'm putting a lot of work, and like I said, guys, the world is not ready for the truth. If I told lies, guys, on YouTube, told women what they wanted to hear, then I'd probably be in the algorithm. A lot of the women that came in that you used to hear from, you don't hear from no more because they don't want the truth. The righteous women that know that they have a dark nature and they're not perfect, and they're going to listen to this message. There are righteous women that listen to me that understand that they have a dark nature, but they do everything in their power to control their dark nature. As I said before in the past, men and women both have a dark nature. Men and women both have a dark nature. But a mature man, a mature woman is willing to understand that they have a dark nature, and they're willing to do something about it. And so my job as the clarion call is to bring self-awareness to why men are the way they are now, and how the truth behind modern masculinity is that men feel like they don't have a voice. And I see it all the time in therapy. And now, guys, you're beginning to see it in relationships, and men are checking out. And also there's a rise of the beaver bumpers. Hold tight.
Baby boomer men did not date during their teenage years. English is my second language today. I apologize. So they're saying 80% of baby boomers did date. What do they have? 77% of Gen X men, my generation, did date.
Still hate.
But then you have a huge drop off. Only 68% of millennial men were dating. And now they're saying barely 50% of Gen Z is dating. They say the reverse of that is
barely 50% of Gen Z is dating. Did you guys hear that? But not only is barely 50% of Gen Z is dating, over 30% of men have never been intimate with a woman. 33% of men are still virgins. So what does that say? The silence of masculinity, the indifference of men, the average guy is really invisible. You got the rise of the invisible male. And that's becoming problematic as well. That's becoming problematic. Shout out to my man Gregory Scholar, coaching some of these women who used to come on your platform telling they supported women. Yeah, I saw it, Greg. I'll sing the shout out to Gregory for the let me see. I guess this is a membership. Hold on. I think Gregory donated 2 months for coaching them. Thank you, brother. But yeah, some of those who used to come on your platform turned out they supported the women. Yeah, I've seen it, Gregory. I saw it firsthand when I had issues with your girl. They were over there laughing and chopping up because they never believed in my message in the first place. They thought I was a sucker simp. But you know what, guys? I realized that when people attack you, that means you're doing something good. The scripture said that when men attack you and they falsely accuse you, the scripture said rejoice because great is your reward. So when you're doing the right thing, people are going to attack you. It's just not in my nature to be a sucker and then lie and tell folks what they want to hear. It's not in my nature. I don't do stuff to hurt people, but I'm not going to lie to you. And those same women that left, many will fall by the wayside because they don't want to do the self-reflection. They want men to lie to them. I can't lie to them. I'm just raw. I'm kosher.
54% of Gen Z men dated during their teenage years. It's a small number compared to the 66% of millennials, 76% of Gen X, and 78% of baby boomer men dated during their teenage years. Why? Because you look at the baby boomers, you look at even my generation, there was no phones, they had phones, they had house phones, but they didn't have cell phones, they didn't have pagers, they didn't have the internet. You couldn't find everybody all the time whenever you wanted to. You couldn't go get caught, stuck in your bedroom surfing on the phone all day looking at TikTok challenges and all this other crap. If you wanted to interact with people, you went out. And so recluses and people that didn't really interact with the world were much fewer because you kind of go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like you had to get out there and interact with human beings. But now you don't need to. And then you add on top of that the other things we talk about, guys going out and being told, don't talk to women. They don't like you. Don't ask them out. You're giving them a hard time. Or they get blasted or embarrassed on the internet because of it. And so that's the breakdown. And then guys say, I got to find other things to do. But as all things, what's happening is now the Daily Wire and these, trad cuck conservatives. You've got...
And guys, and I know that social media has changed the game for the worse. Social media has changed the game for the worse. It's changed the game for the worse. And what I mean by changing the game for the worse, at one time, average women got with average men. Average women didn't try to get the best of men. Or if they did try to realize it was futile because they realized those men didn't want them. But now, because of the rise of the simplification of American men, those women are trying to get the top tier men. And then when they hear men say what men said years ago, what they didn't or didn't want, then all of a sudden it's a problem. It becomes a problem, guys. And it's happening more and more and more and more and more and more. That's why I say to myself, the reason why so many modern situations is like it is, because you got a damn weak generation of women, or a weak generation of men that were raised by the mothers. I call them teddy milk boys. I got a show coming up, Rise of the Teddy Milk Boys. They're weak, they're ignorant. They say silly stuff. They try to disrespect masculine men. They don't have standards. They placate to the feelings of women. They don't tell women the truth. They don't set limits. They don't have a line of demarcation. So I don't blame some of the women that are like that. It's not all of them. There's some good sisters that are out here that are remnant. There's a few in this show right now. But once again, When the men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over. And so you got a generation of men that were raised by the mothers. They over-identify with their mothers. There's nothing wrong with loving your mother, but it's another thing when you over-identify. They don't have boundaries. They don't have standards. And anything that men try to implement, then it's a problem. Gregory Scott said, Coach, some of those women used to come on your platform. Right. Okay, hold on.
Got people like this that are saying, "Oh no, it's men. Are more interested in video games and more interested in watching the stuff on the internet and spanking it off. That's what men are interested in, not women." Now, when you look at the quality of women that are out there today, I could see why you'd say, "Yeah, that's pretty true. I agree with that." But I think there's a disconnect, and what's happening now is that roughly 50% of Gen Z men are dating and the other 50% aren't. And they're probably some of them are the wokies dating other wokies.
Hey guys, I need y'all to do
the
me
male
a favor.
feminists that do whatever the women say. And then the other ones are like the Chad and Stacey's, probably on the more independent, liberal, and conservative side, that are dating. But there's a whole subgroup of people that are just like, I'm not even given an opportunity because of the hypergamy and things like that happening. But they can't look at that. They look at what happens because of that, and then they say, oh, that's the problem. They say Daniel A. Cox is behind the research. He's the director of the Survey Center on American Life and a senior fellow in polling and public opinion at the American Enterprise Institute. He said both of them are approaching dating with much trepidation. I think it's left them much more open to considering alternatives to partnering up in marriage. Cox said of Gen Zers, I'm kind of washing my hands of dating because it's either not been successful or just not fun. You notice they're saying that exclusively for men, that men are not approaching women, that men aren't dating, and they view it with trepidation because they're blown out of the water by these narcissistic, rude women.
Right.
Or they're put on blast.
Right.
And they say they've not been successful, hypergamy, or it's just not fun.
And guys,
trying to prove yourself and validate yourself.
I created a word that I'm hearing a lot of people use now called hoflation. I created a term called hoflation. And it basically says that women that have narcissistic traits, they look past average men, they don't care about those average men, and those average men are invisible. And so when you got a generation of men where the men that are average men are invisible, their average salaries make them invisible, then that breeds apathy and indifference. And what you're seeing now is apathy and indifference because the world don't want to hear the truth behind what men really want.
And it becomes like a job interview. He said Cox explained Gen Zers are focused on the risk aversion of rejection and being harassed, but he fears, especially for males, that not dating is causing more harm than good. Now, why aren't they talking about women in the same way? Because ugly women can still get laid. Ugly women can still date.
Right. And that's why men have said over and over and over and over and over again that when it comes down to dating and relationships, that men set a premium on a woman's sexuality because sexuality or intimacy for a woman is easy. It's not easy for a man. Once again, 33% of men are virgins, according to some data, meaning they've never been with a woman. A woman getting intimacy is easy, but it's not easy for a man. That's why men don't want women that's been ran through. And so with the rise of hoflation now, you got average women that think they're better than average men. And the cycle continues, the pathology continues, the brokenness continues, the hurt continues, and the pain continues over and over and over and over again. Once again, guys, I'm going to be experimenting different things with this channel. I don't know what's going on with this damn algorithm. I don't know what's going on. You're right, Greg. I definitely used to have way more numbers back in the past. But I'm grateful for the people that support it. And thank God I'm a therapist by trade. I don't have to rely on YouTube. But until I figure it out, we're going to keep grinding, guys. Hold tight.
Women are still dating. But the same's not true for men. And that's because there's a lot of guys out there that will sleep down, that will, that a big girl's like a motor scooter. They're both fun to ride, but you don't want your friends to know you're doing it, right? So that's happening a lot. And so it's specifically men that are being left out because men have to prove that they're high value, where women, for some men, women just need to exist. And we know this. They say it's really important to providing you with experiences to know how to set and respect boundaries, to know what you're looking for. He said some of the things stopping young men for dating are finances, because women are out there making their own money, number one. And number two, they only want to date guys that make more money or are more successful.
Let me ask you a question to the guys that are dating, to the single men that are dating. Would you guys agree, or more or less say or agree that you become disenfranchised with dating? If you become disenfranchised with dating, hit 1. And if you have become disenfranchised with dating, and the truth about modern masculinity, hit 2. Tell me why you become disenfranchised, because I think Bella Bachelor is onto something.
And on top of that, they get shamed, and they get hearing these viral videos going around where women are saying they need a man that at least makes six figures and up. So a lot of guys are like, even if they don't have firsthand experience that they don't have the money, they're seeing it being thrown in their faces. But they say video games, parenting, and social media. See, video games as a result. Yeah, guys like video games. I used to play video games. When I was in high school, video games did exist. I know, I'm old. But they had the Atari, and they had the was it the ColecoVision? And, they had the Commodore 64, where you could play ER Kung Fu. They had all these video games. They existed. And what did you do? If it was a Saturday and nothing was going on, you played video games. But if you had a date, if you were 16 at least, you'd pile into the car your dad would lend you. You'd put in some gas in it. You'd go drive off and meet your friends, and hopefully get your girlfriend in the back seat so you could, get a little rub and tickle in the back seat, and maybe hopefully get to third or home base, right? That's what we did as young people. We still had the video games. We didn't have much money as a young guy. I was making $3.25 minimum wage at the Terry. I didn't have money.
Brother. Thank you,
I was borrowing my parents' car.
And Dick and Saul, the number one sponsor.
And then they blame it on parenting and social media. No.
And so once again, guys, you're seeing the culmination over and over and over and over and over and over again. Shout out to Dick and Saul and Gregory Scotland. They're the number one sponsors. Got a powerful show, guys, once again coming on tonight, called Rise of the Beaver. Rise of the Beaver. And we're going to talk about the rise of the beaver and the hypocrisy behind bi-curious relationships. It's going to be a great show. Guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button to the link that I dropped in the link. Hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the like button, because it'll tell the algorithm to promote the show. If you, to the 9 people that are watching, if 9 people, the 10 people that are watching, but go in and hit the like button. I need you, the link right here, guys. Y'all see the link? I'm going to put the link in again. Click on that link for the show tonight. Click on link and hit the like button. And once again, guys, I appreciate all the brothers and sisters that show support. As you guys know, my monetization was suspended yesterday. I was able to get it back in less than a day, and my channel has been struck 3 times because I'm telling the truth. See, the people that don't want to hear the truth, they try to silence you. Instead of having the conversation and trying to change what they want, they try to silence you. That's why I say, guys, it's not going to change in our lifetime. So for you men thinking that things gonna get better in our lifetime, it's not. It's gonna take. James. Yeah. My channel was hit. My monetization was suspended yesterday. I was able to get it back this morning after I did some research and I had to prove my case. And my channel has been struck 3 times in the last 2 months. 3 times. Every time I got an appeal, because they want to silence you. Remember, these are the same people that say they're ADOS, they're pro-black, they're pro-family, pro-damn relationship, but you're not. You're not pro-black, you're not pro-family, you're not pro-relationship. You're pro-you. And anybody that don't kiss your ass, then you got a problem with it. And they're not used to masculine men speaking up. So they use shaming language like old, ugly, all that goofy shit, which is silly to me, because They're old. You know, they're not the most attractive. And let me tell you guys about this ageism. I got a show coming up called Rise of the Teddy Milk Boys. Teddy. They use shaming language like old and old man and all that goofy ish. Now understand it's a privilege and a blessing to get older, to grow older. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that God's allowed me to be 52. I'm proud to say I came from one of the best generations ever. It's not a doubt in my mind that Gen X was one of the best generations ever. The best music. Yeah, Teddy Milk James. The best music. The best clothes, the best style, everything. Gen X had the best of both worlds. We had the old school, we had the new school, we had tradition, we had families. It was better. It wasn't perfect because there was a lot of high teen pregnancy in Gen X. But I'm so grateful I grew up in Gen X. We got it from the mud. We didn't quit. We weren't complainers. And we had a greater respect of our elders. But these damn Teddy Milk boys now, they don't respect their elders. And some of these damn Teddy Milk girls, they don't respect their elders either. They're disrespectful. They're entitled. They got a slick mouth. They're goofy as hell. They don't fight through adversity. They think that grown men and grown women supposed to kiss their ass. Extremely entitled. Extremely disrespectful. And it'll be a cold day in damn hell before I damn tap dance for some of these damn Gen Z kids. Weak, very confused. Now some will say, well, who made us that way? I didn't make you that damn way. I got 3 girls. I don't play tap dance with my girls. I demand excellence from my children. And if they get out of line, they can get this work. You know, we did. I would never say the stuff that this generation of kids say to the OGs. And a lot of it is because they're getting with these weak men that are having, these women are having children by the same group of men, and then they blame all men for the problems that they're having in this damn current society. So it's not going to get better in our current life. It's not. I remember when I was in graduate school at UNC Chapel Hill. Shout out to my Tar Heels, much love to Carolina. And I'll never forget when I was at Carolina. And I said, when we were kids growing up, we didn't jump off bridges. We just fought through adversity. They got mad at me. I almost got kicked out of school. I'm like, what? I'm just telling the truth. We just fought through adversity. But not this damn generation now. A lot of these boys are, some of them, a lot of them are weak. Now, there's some good ones that I've met, but a lot of them are weak. They think like their mamas because they still don't have titty. They don't respect traditional masculinity. They like damn common sense. Anytime you say something, they get triggered. They don't identify with the fathers because they got a hatred of their fathers because the mothers lied to them. Sister Bashir said, I've seen videos of little hellions where they, jumping on an old woman. And that was the video I think that got me in trouble, guys. They were jumping on an old woman. They jumped on that old woman, and the poor old woman was trying to fight back. Can you imagine children jumping on old women? But then you got these goofballs talking about saving the damn community. How are you going to save it? How can you save a community where the people don't respect the men in the community? How can you save a community when you got a community of damn entitled men and women? How can you save a community where you got average women that think they're better than average men? How can you save it? How can you save a community when you got preachers that don't tell the truth? When you have some of these pro-blacks that don't damn tell, some of these pro-black simps that this is worse than some of these preachers. They call these women queens, but they ain't earned a damn thing. They haven't earned the title of a queen. And so when people like myself that's trying to be honest and talk about the issue so we can see true resolve and change, then I get attacked. My channel gets suppressed. My channel don't damn grow because I'm telling the truth. If I was talking about some BS and queens and goofy shit, my channel will blow up. But I refuse to talk about it. If I had to create a whole new damn niche on this YouTube, I'll do it. But I know what I'm not going to damn do. I refuse to continue to put in the work that I'm putting. I'm putting a lot of work for the brotherhood. I take a lot of risk. But I'm not going to keep doing it to my own damn detriment. I changed my whole game up. I changed my whole niche up. And once again, shout out to Gregory Scotland, James Turner, all the good brothers, Top Gun, my man King Saul, Deacon Saul, all of y'all. I ain't got nothing but love for y'all brothers. Because the one for y'all, Top Gun, Brother Campbell, NC Recovery, I don't know why we waste my time doing this stuff, man. Because I'm like, how's it benefiting me? You know? I put a lot of energy and time into this, but once again, the truth behind modern masculinity is that people don't want to hear the truth. The truth behind modern masculinity is the generation of men that are broken, a generation of men that don't know their power, a generation of men that don't know what their worth is, a generation of men that don't respect the OGs, don't respect authority, they don't respect traditionalism. And I never thought it would happen in my lifetime. So I am proud, Gen X. I'm proud from a generation where the men still serenaded the women. I'm proud I came from a generation where the women were at least better. They weren't perfect because they were getting it in Gen X too. Gen X women were sneaky with that dirt, but they were still better. They weren't walking around saying they were proud to be 304s. It was shameful. But now, all on these damn graduations, all on these camps, these damn kids are disrupting and causing chaos because there is no true modern masculinity anymore. Modern masculinity is a joke. And sadly, in my profession, it's not all, but in my profession as a licensed therapist, not all, you got a generation of woke therapists that try to damn silence men. You got a generation of woke therapists, not all, there's some good female therapists that try to support men and they're balanced. So shout out to those good women. But you still sad they got a generation, they've been indoctrinated and they see everything through the damn lens of intersectionality. Everything is through a damn intersection, where yet black men historically have never had no damn power to oppress no one. We've never had power to oppress anyone. Never had the power to oppress nobody. But you think because you get in your feelings, then when you, I'm going to go unsubscribe, I don't give a shit if you unsubscribe, I can kill less. I'm still going to be great. With or without damn YouTube. I'm Gen X. Gen X, we get it from the mud. We don't quit. We're not like some of these damn Gen Zs and some of these damn millennials that quit. Gen X don't quit. We keep grinding. We don't quit jobs. We fight through adversity. That's why we're damn tougher. And that's why I tell my kids, we don't tolerate BS in my house. I'm not one of them daddy simps. You got a lot of daddy simps. And a daddy simp is a man that basically more or less is besmirched or more or less mesmerized by his daughter and don't set no standards. Don't teach her how to be ready for her husband. But a generation of entitlement, a damn generation of disrespect, a generation where the men don't have the tenacity to speak truth to power, a generation where the men won't say what they want because they're feared that every time they say what they want, they're going to be shamed. Right, James said Gen X wasn't left with anything. We still had to teach and find a way to make it financial. Yes. A couple of years ago, Sister Bashir said years ago, a 79-year-old man in my city was beaten to death by a group of young people between the ages of 10 to 14. The disrespect and the disregard of elderly and human life was astounding. Yeah. But you got these fools, Sister Bashir, that say, let's save a community. Let me tell you guys a story real quick before I get back into it. But I had a situation at the other company where I was working at until I started working for myself. And, working for yourself has its pros and cons, but I can't work for people because I know my personality. And so I had a situation where this Teddy Milk Boy came into my practice and Teddy Milk Boy called me bruh. Like, bruh, what the hell are you talking to, bruh? I'm like, I don't know what the hell no bruh is. And so I said, look, one thing we're not going to damn do, don't call me bruh. I'm not your damn bruh. And the problem is he was with his mother. And so instead of the woman correcting her son's behavior, she was the major culprit to her son's bad behavior. The mom didn't correct the behavior. And so, his mouth kept getting slick. So I had to stand up, what's up? And I said, you know what? I'm going to need you to change what you say and how you say it. And he kept damn doubling down and saying, Bruss, I said, you know what? We can't continue this damn session. So I stood up in an aggressive way. And I'm like, you need to take your ass on because I'm not going to see you. So instead of the mom correcting him, The mom said, no, let's talk. I said, no, man, we're not going to have no conversation. You cannot have a conversation with a person unless they respect you. You cannot have therapy unless a person respects you. You cannot have a therapeutic relationship unless there's mutual healthy respect for one another. And so the woman correcting the kid, she went to the office and told the office that I was aggressive. Not talking about her bastard son, they called me bruh. So once again, there is no black community. There is no American community because it's on both sides. You got a generation of weak titty milk boys that don't emphasize or more or less respect true masculinity. And you got a generation of kids that don't respect women, that don't respect and honor the humanity of a man. And so both are complicit in their damn own demise. And then when I try to bring a conversation out and talk about the conversation, then it's minimized. But you got some of these slow taps that'll tell you, talking about, damn, building the black community. How? How can you build it? How can you build something without respect? Let's get back into it. And guys, I'm gonna end this soon because the show tonight's gonna be a great show. Y'all gonna love this show. Y'all gonna be laughing. It's gonna be a good show. And in the meantime, I gotta figure out what's going on with this stupid algorithm. But anyway.
Well, social media, yes, because men are just blown out on social media by these crazy women. And the parenting, I could see that to some degree because a lot of young men today are being raised by single mothers.
Did y'all hear that?
They're not told how to be stoic and strong and smart and funny. And
did you hear? And see, I didn't know that this man was going to say that. I didn't, honestly. I've never heard it. I never watched this video. But he's right. They haven't been taught how to be stoic. They haven't been taught how to be indifferent. They're very emotional. They get emotional with other masculine men to the point they want to revert to violence because they over-identify with their mothers. They're teddy milk boys. Teddy milk. Teddy never had his daddy, and Teddy is still on his mama, Teddy. Teddy milk boys. I used to have to jack a couple of them up when I used to work in the training school, when I worked in law enforcement. They're nothing but teddy milk boys. And them damn teddy milk boys sometimes are more dangerous than the women. Because they're women with testosterone. You can't lead them, you can't guide them, you can't teach them. I talked to a basketball coach. I talked to a couple of guys. I'm gonna bring them on my show at some point. We went to, they were high school football coaches and basketball coaches. And did you guys know that they said that one of the guys said out of the 15 kids that he had, the majority of them were raised in single parent homes. Out of the 15 that he had, he said only 2 had intact 2-parent homes. And so now being a baby mama is normal. Now having children out of wedlock is the norm. And they're trying to shame you and say, oh, these black men getting these women pregnant. No, we're not. Because black men don't have that easy access to sex. 33% of black men are not even having sex in general. So how the hell can black men be getting all these women pregnant? They're not getting them pregnant. And the truth is you will never get pregnant if you respected your body and told these goofballs no until you put a ring on my finger, you're not getting my body. I've said it before in the past, black women in the past were the greatest women ever. So I don't care about this damn current generation. It ain't going to change in our lifetime. You guys can waste your time talking about it and trying to damn make it change. If that's what you want to do, waste your time. But it ain't going to change because the trend is getting worse and worse and worse. The churches are not preaching the gospel. Some of these mosques are not preaching it. They don't teach the truth. And why, Christians and Muslims are children of the book. We have a fundamental different belief system. Anytime you tell the truth, now folks get in their damn feelings and want to damn delete, and that's fine. But like I said, I'm not a quitter. I am going to Rumble at some point. So guys, get ready. We're about to Rumble at some point over there on damn Rumble. I'm going to go to a platform where I ain't got a damn word about these goofy women attacking my damn channel and flagging it over stupid stuff. Because before it gets to the damn point that I can't say what I need to say, I'll get off of YouTube. It ain't that damn serious. But yeah, James, teddy milk boys. Make sure you put in a bunch of long titties. Yeah, man, you're a fool, man.
Confident and go, lift weights and get muscles. Instead, they're told to, be effeminate, and maybe young guys are starting to wear makeup now, and you need to be in touch with your feelings, and that's why it's all falling apart for them. But they look at the things that are the results, i.e., here's here's what men are doing instead of dating, and they're looking at those things and saying, here's why men aren't dating, and that's backwards. They say hashtags and forums, asking, what's wrong with men? Okay, this is a quote. I have not gotten a brain aneurysm in the last 5 seconds. Quote, hashtags and forums, asking, what's wrong with men? Men blame women for being too shallow and superficial. So I think that there's an increasing amount of invective aimed at either side, and the way we're putting relationships has become more tribal. Who the heck was that? That's quite a quote. Kyle Kellman, a high school freshman, is not surprised by these numbers. They're not necessarily looking for deep connection like the person, but not enough to really want to have a long-lasting relationship, he opined. He's not interested in dating anyone now. However, he's
Gregory.
not opposed to it.
You're right, Gregory. Yeah.
He said,
these goodies have tried to take down Shay. Yep. YouTube still haven't given Kristen her plaque for 100,000 subscribers. Yeah. And that's why I said Gregory and James to those that listen. I'm like, man, like, why continue to do damn content where the machine is going to reduce your growth? You put in hours and hours of editing and trying to be creative. You're trying to be creative. You try to do the right thing. But why do it? Shit, I can just do some content where I'm filming stuff and walking up the street and maybe they'll put me back in the algorithm. I'm tired of, it's not that I'm quitting, but it's a waste of time. I'm a go-getter. I don't like mediocrity. I like anything I touch, I want to win. Because once again, I'm from Gen X. Gen X, man, we like to win. We like to win. And my personality, I got a big personality. I like to win. I don't like losing. So I'm not surprised. I'm Gregory. Not surprised at all, brother. Just like now, the invariability, and I don't know, maybe I saw this damn show to it's not part of the algorithm. I don't know. But I know it's a headache. But, it is what it is. I'm going to Rumble soon. And hopefully there, I don't have to jump through so many damn hoops to get respect, man. Because it's appalling, sad to hear in America. And so many content creators that have to jump through hoops.
Maybe take them out to play pickleball or tennis. Maybe go eat lunch or dinner. Maybe watch a movie, he said of a potential date. I do want to get married one day, and I do want to have children of my own. So he's even saying it. Like, a lot of people are not looking for a deep connection. They're just kind of doing the hookup thing. And when you're hooking up with people, you don't get to know them. You sleep with them, you catch an STD, and then you move on to the next one. And that's what a lot of young people are doing. He said Jennifer Kellman, Kyle's mom, so Jennifer Kellman happens to be not only Kyle's mom, who is the person they just interviewed, but she's also a mental health expert with justanswer.com. Oh, I'm sure she is the epitome of young men's issues. She said there's a growth in that connection, in that dating experience, because it lends itself to building new muscles, she explained. Also, dealing with heartbreak when it comes, as painful as that might be, there's also the benefit of working through these feelings and getting through to the other side.
And so, guys, I think y'all get the gist of it. It's being seen on all hands, a generation of brokenness, a generation of what I call titty milk boys, and a generation where traditionalism is eroding, masculinity is under attack, boys are becoming indifferent, and boys don't have a healthy respect for traditional men. And once again, you guys are seeing it over and over and over and over again. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for this show later on today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Much love. But this is something that I want to drop in as I'm experimenting this live streaming from my phone. I haven't really seen no damn dividends from it yet, but it is what it is. But anyway, I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to my man, King Saul, for the 25. #1 sponsor, Gregory Scotland, for the 2 new memberships for the next 2 months. Sister Bashua, always showing love. She's a member. I appreciate it, dear. And once again, we got a good show coming up later tonight. It's called Rise of the Teddy Milk Boys. No, not Rise of the Teddy Milk Boys, but Rise of the Beaver. It's called Rise of the Beaver. I think you guys are going to love it. Rise of the Beaver. And once again, the hypocrisy the hypocrisy of so many modern women in dating, and the hypocrisy overall when it comes down to bi-curious relationships and how men should respond. So once again, guys, yeah, thank you, James. I'll be there for the show tonight. Yeah. Listen, guys, once again, it's 5 people that are watching. Can y'all do me a favor? Please go over and hit the link, hit the like button for the show tonight. There's only 5 left that are listening. Go hit the like button. If you hit the like button, it'll tell the algorithm to push the show. And so I need y'all to help me by hitting that like button. All right? So go hit that like button. Get ready for the show tonight. But I just want to do a quick review on the truth behind modern masculinity, how we got here, and how things are not going to change in our lifetime, guys. And once again, I got a good show coming up called Rise of the Titty Milk Boys. And we'll talk about it at some point. All right? Y'all take care. Be good.